Okay. And we're back to the second part of what makes our inner work work. Um, and somebody is asking in the chat room, something needs to be retyped there. Somebody is asking, Ora, can you give a little bit of time frame and relation to your life? When did you first discover this essence, and what did you do because of that? So I'm not sure this will be the topic for today, but I think I said it before that it became much more something I actually work with after I met Tim, who is an expert in these matters, and we began to work together as co-creators of all sorts of things and as friends, and it inspired me to check his way of looking at things, because before that, that was by the way in 2010 when I first met him. Before that, I did have a sense of my purpose in life. I was already teaching, I wrote a book, I was facilitating, and I had a feeling, but about what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. But this kind of gave it a lot more, I think you can say, oomph, it gave a lot of empowerment to my work. Okay, I'll just translate from the, okay. So you're asking about the creator of the universe. Okay. So again, we're talking only about a part of a very complex system that has to do with the essence, something that Tim, if you go through his, do it in his way, calls the blessing, and there is also the message, and all sorts of other things that you have to figure out, and also a way of talking about it with other people, because it's sometimes very difficult to talk about it very directly. So, for example, regarding the being the creator of the universe, it had to do with understanding how huge we all are, essentially. So some of that was, I was aware of that before that. But that was the time when I was beginning to create with Tim and a group of other people a little later on, the way of working with the collective aspects of our life. And as we were working with the collective aspects of life, for example, little by little, I realized that a lot of my work was happening, can't be proven, but it did a lot of good work for me and for other people, was happening on a universal scale, not only on a personal scale, not only on a human scale, like humanity or the world, but things began to come to me, to talk to me, to get to know me and me them, that were on a universal scale. And this was just happening. I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't wish it to happen, but it did happen. I think that was before I got this new essence as part of my purpose in Tim's way. So that was somehow beginning to happen. And then I began realizing, for example, that although I sort of believed that most problems are probably human problems, and that if you leave humanity and you go into, spiritual things and stuff like that, then the feeling was that over there, everything was okay, and we needed to do the work, not whatever was out there. And little by little, I discovered that, sadly enough, it's not the truth. At least in my universe, it's not the truth. There are a lot of things that need to be healed in the universe. And sometimes, if we really, really do our inner work, we become possible, how would I say, tools perhaps, or possible agents in promoting the healing that is not only here and now, but also on a bigger scale. And since I did it with quite a lot of people for quite a few years, it turned out that working on such a scale sometimes was very helpful for people as well. So it wasn't only for me. Now, also, I realized more and more during, the past 10 years, it's difficult to say when things began, but let's say 10 years, that, as I said before, each of us is much, much bigger potentially than we are aware. So I can both see myself as, kind of the small aura that's talking to you right now, okay? That, can, has a body and, goes to work or whatever, let's call it the local aura for now, okay? But I can also see myself, and I'm inviting you to experience that for a second, as an unending field of consciousness, an unending field of identity. I've begun calling more and more the work that I do work that has to do a lot with identity bubbles, identity fields, and also I call it sometimes consciousness bubbles and consciousness fields. So you can see, I hope, that when I'm talking about a bubble, then it's more like local aura or a local self within aura and stuff like that. So it's more, it's smaller usually, or it's more local. It has an identity, and it seems to have kind of boundaries. It's like a bubble, okay? But when I'm talking about an identity field or a consciousness field, it has no limits. Now feel it for a second. You can move from this feeling that I have my boundaries, and that's very important, by the way, to be able to feel that, like a bubble of my identity, of my reality, and moving from that to I'm endless. And if I'm endless, then what's the difference between that and the entire universe, or all universes? Everything that is and isn't. Okay? So the ability to move between these two aspects of our existence is very empowering and makes us much more flexible. And we begin to realize that all the work that I do on myself, on my inner work, is also on a universal scale. I really believe that. And of course, if I am ready to do work on a universal scale, it also, of course, is inner work. Okay? So that's one example about how it affected my life and my work. But it's only a little bit because, it's my life. It's a very complicated thing for me to talk about because it has there's so much going on. But that's something about it. I'm looking, wow, you wrote a lot, so let's see. So I wonder if I answered this question enough. Okay, well, the series isn't ending yet. Okay, somebody is writing here. I still don't understand if essence and purpose are the same thing, because to me it sounds like two different things. It's easier for me to understand or sense my essence. It's much more difficult for me to understand what my purpose in the world is. A very good question too. So I would say that from my point of view, when you know your essence, it's easier to figure out things like how would I like to express my essence in the world, and in my life. It doesn't mean that it's very easy, but it helps. So let's say that my essence is something like I am a healer, or I am a joy bringer, okay, or something like that. I can be that essence more often, whatever I do, first of all. So if I'm a nurse, I can be a bringer of healing or a bringer of joy or whatever it is. And if I am a cook, I can imbue the food that I'm preparing with my essence. When I am a chef or a cook, I cook with my essence, the food will be something else, you could. And also usually my experience doing it will be much better. It'll be much more fun, usually much more easy, much more exciting, and so on and so forth. But then again, sometimes we will little by little feel that it's not enough. Maybe that person whose essence is I'm a bringer of healing, for example, at some point will realize that in order to feel really good in one's life, this person perhaps needs to study something new. I'm just inventing, like how to heal, and learn all sorts of ways of healing, and then using, and then perhaps moving from being a teacher or a cook or a nurse to becoming gradually a healer. So this can also require some time. You need to usually make a living as you go about doing this transition, and so on and so forth. Or you can be two things at once. You can be a cook that also works as a healer, or there's no absolute answer to anything. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about the difference. And again, you might want to read Tim Kelley's book to get a better understanding of how he sees this thing, because I can't talk about everything. Somebody else is saying, it's amazing to think about myself as a universal consciousness. Yeah, I'm glad you wrote that. It is amazing, and I believe, for me, in my work and in my world, it's the truth. And it makes my life work better knowing it, but it also makes my life more challenging in a good way. Okay? I think it's right for all of us. Okay, somebody asks, what does it mean cooking with your essence or cooking without your essence? Practically, how would it look? How would the difference look like? And how, okay, so that's one question, and then there's another. So it's very difficult to answer this, because it's like it's not something that is always very visible to the eye. But let's think about dancing, for example. Okay, so there are many, many ways that people can feel while they're dancing. You know, they can feel rigid and in control, and feel that it's very difficult for them to express through movement. But if they manage to dance while they experience their essence, whatever it is, then probably, you know, I would suggest that you will see that their dance becomes more fluid, or becomes more natural, or becomes more expressive, or they're feeling more at home in their bodies, for example. So maybe that gives something. If my essence is healing, okay, and I'm not just cooking, you know, I'm not just chop, 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 chop while I'm thinking about something else, or you know, pouring water into the pot and, you know, putting chicken in, or whatever, or vegetables or whatever, while being busy with other things or hurrying. If it's my essence to heal, and I do it through my cooking, whether it's as a mother or a father at home, or whether I'm, you know, it's my work, then I would probably be much more present. I will connect to this feeling of healing and remember that it is my essence. And this will imbue all my activity as I'm cooking. No, I will probably kind of be more in tune. I will probably be, it will feel more meaningful to be cooking, okay, with my essence there. Okay, and whatever it is, you know, try it. You know, try to start playing with what could my essence be. There are ways of figuring it out. This is not a lesson really, but you can play around with it. You know, what kind of image comes up to me when I think about what might my essence be for now? Okay, and it has to be something that excites you and sometimes scares you a little. Not necessarily, but it could be, because kind of it's, you know, wow, makes me understand more about myself and what I want to do, or it makes me feel more responsible regarding my life and things like that. So you can start playing around with this and see what comes up, and then as an experiment, try doing stuff with it, whether it's cooking or taking a shower or talking with your children or working. The second question here was, if so, how can the essence change? What changes? Another great question. You know, if I choose to see myself as a universe, you know, it's an ever-changing thing. Even if I just thought of myself as a stream or a river, you know, or the earth or whatever, everything is in motion all the time. Nothing stays static for very long, if at all. You know, the world, the reality is in constant flux. And so I tend to believe that even things like our essence evolve. So sometimes it can be an evolution that is kind of seems like the same direction, but something is added to it. For example, I am let's say I am a sunny healer, okay, evolves to I am a joyful sunny healer, okay? But sometimes it evolves into something that feels completely new because you've done enough work and there is a kind of jump in or a possible jump in your consciousness. And so you kind of, it really shifts. It doesn't mean that what you were before isn't relevant. What I notice through the years of working with that, as well as other things, is that if my essence right now were something like I am the creator of the universe, or even I am the creator of universes, or whatever it's going to be in the future, I'm still doing the work on previous steps in my discovery of my essence. So, for example, I'm still teaching and I'm still working on being an unbreakable diamond. Sometimes I feel very, very, very much like an indestructible diamond, and sometimes less. Okay? So it keeps working, but it's not enough anymore to challenge my growth. Okay? Or being like a flowering diamond, it's the same thing. Okay? So it both stays the same and also changes and evolves. Okay? Another question here. Do you mean that we put in a conscious intent that has to do with our essence into everything that we do? Well, it's possible. Yeah. You know, maybe it's too much to ask from ourselves sometimes. You know, it could become a bit obsessive sometimes, or sometimes we just want to relax, you know, to read a good book or to swim in the sea and not think about essences and purposes, and we just want to have fun, you know. But yes, I think from my point of view, this is part of it. It kind of gives you a context to everything you do, and or an additional context, because we can have many contexts, and it does help you make everything you do, or more of the stuff that you do, feel very meaningful and filled with your essence. And it's a very, very pleasant feeling when we live more of the time like that. Let's see if we have more questions. Did I miss anything? We're nearing the very, very end of our time today. So if there's anything else in this regard, I think we've discussed it enough for today. Actually,
Ora.
it's possible, but in English and, and very, very short.
Yeah, so actually, I don't know if it's a question, it's a sharing about what we had in the last few days when you wrote about the masks, and I was reacting and I was very angry on you even, because
Sure.
I felt, yeah, I was really, wow.
I know you were.
Yeah, what happened to Ora? Oy, 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 kilo. So, and I still, you know, if you only remind me this, now I need to go to Tel Aviv, I don't know what to do. My car is with no air condition. I need to go by the train. I can't go with this mask. Anyway, these characters that I have now in this
you
revolution.
mean your inner selves, your inner voices?
In my,
Are you talking about your inner voices and selves? Dmuyot?
Yeah, Dmuyot, my characters.
Okay, I wanted everybody to understand.
are so angry. But yesterday I had a session. She's not doing voice dialogue, but she learned from me. So she's doing it from me. And we said that I will, איך אומרים לתחם? לתחם.
Make boundaries or something like that?
Make boundaries to this anarchist character, because she's stealing me time. I need time for work, and I find myself, 2 or 3 hours a day. I have to post this, post that, and then I don't do what I need for my living. So
listen, we can.
I said we will.
Sarah, I think I get your drift. I want to answer very briefly because we really need to finish. Okay, so I'm sorry that I'm cutting you off, but no, that's the way it is. So look.
טוב, לא נורא. I will be angry again on you, לא נורא.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. So listen, what you're saying is that regarding wearing a mask, you are not in the aware I. It's very, very, very simple and very clear. It's not about the discussion here. It's not about, is it right and good and wise to wear a mask or not? That's not the discussion. Everybody can have their own thoughts about it. The discussion is, are you becoming completely taken over, kidnapped, and identified completely with certain parts in yourselves that are becoming very angry and very upset and are sure that they are right? When you can't, I know, I can see, it's very obvious.
No.
Look at the difference. You tell me I was very angry at you and I'm not reactive. Okay, you were angry at me. I'm not saying it doesn't make me happy, but it's not a big deal because I'm not identified with somebody who needs to jump back and say, no, I was right. You should, you don't, it's not from the aware I can listen to a different opinion and say, okay, that's another part talking. And remain calm. And as you can see, when you become very, very identified with an inner anarchist, for example, which is a great voice to have, a great voice to have. Yeah. But when look how you even don't let me finish talking because you're so identified with somebody right now. So it's very natural, it happens to everybody. So don't feel bad about it. You're giving us an example of talking from a self, a voice, and not from your aware I. Okay. So how would it sound if you were in the aware I? You would say, I have inner voices that want to kill everybody who thinks that you should wear a mask or that it's healthy. Okay, so I have such voices in me. Okay, that's fine, that's interesting. But I can also understand other people and find within myself a voice that thinks differently. For example, that might say, I don't know, maybe those people who do believe that you should wear or that it is healthier to wear a mask right now also have a point. And I can, I can listen to that. I don't have to react to that. And I will choose what to do. And I can also say to people what I believe, but it will also be much more effective, Sarah, if you talk about whatever you believe in from the aware I, because when you're talking from an inner self, everybody becomes polarized and angry at you. And what does she think? And who does she think she is? Or they agree, and it just adds to the polarization and to the feeling of inner war and outer war. You
I don't know. I'm kidnapped. איך אומרים? כי נחטפתי. I don't know.
Yes, you were kidnapped.
I can,
into identification.
if I'm moving to another character, I can handle it, you know?
Exactly.
If
exactly.
I'm in my, if אני בהילרית, if I'm
right.
in the hilary,
Okay.
so I
Yes.
don't,
right.
so it's like the where
Sarah,
I, it's the same thing.
Sorry again that I'm cutting you short because I have to finish the show and people need to go, but thanks for bringing it up. It happens to everybody, so it's a really, really good example and even a teaching to all of us to notice where, when, and where it happens to us on different aspects. And again, I'm not for or against masks. You know, I don't really know. You know, I try to find my way there, but I can see both points of view. And that makes me more balanced about it and more clear about it in my choices. So thank you very, very much. Sarah, I can't go on.
Point of view.
No, Sarah can't. So thank you very, very much, all of you.
Thank you, Ora.
Being here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And see you next Monday. We'll continue.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.